You watch your child sit down at the kitchen table, open a book, and immediately freeze. That grip of hesitation around the pencil, the stalling, the tears over spelling words. You know something is wrong. You suspect dyslexia. So you schedule a meeting, sit across from the administration, and share your concerns. And they shut the conversation down completely with one sentence. We don't medically diagnose dyslexia. You are not crazy. You are not failing your child. The school is using a very specific piece of vocabulary to deflect the conversation away from their responsibilities. When administrators frame reading struggles exclusively as a medical issue, it creates an artificial wall. It leaves you feeling like you have no options without an expensive private doctor's note, leaving your child sitting in the exact same struggling position for another academic year. The school administration is technically correct. They are educators, not pediatricians. But by focusing on the word diagnose, they are omitting a massive legal obligation they still owe you. Tennessee's Say Dyslexia law specifically targets that administrative roadblock. It provides the legal phrasing parents need to force the school into action, regardless of whether a doctor is involved. The law shifts the standard from requiring a rigid medical diagnosis to simply screening for the characteristics of dyslexia. If those characteristics show up in the classroom, the school has to act. No medical note required. The law gives parents 5 distinct guarantees. The first is universal screening. Every student in kindergarten through 3rd grade undergoes a reading screener, automatically. You do not even have to ask for it. This matrix represents the second guarantee, the strict legal scope of that test. The state mandates that the screener must evaluate 5 specific areas of reading competency. The first 2 nodes are phonological awareness and sound symbol recognition. In practice, this means testing whether a child can identify distinct sounds in spoken words and then correctly match those individual sounds to printed letters. The remaining 3 measure execution. Decoding tests how well they read unfamiliar words. Rapid naming tracks their speed and cognitive pacing when identifying letters or objects. And encoding tests their spelling construction, how they build words out of component parts. By legally mandating this exact testing matrix, the state prevents schools from relying on overly basic, surface-level reading quizzes that often gloss over deep, systemic learning struggles. If that screener flags any of those 5 characteristics, the 3rd guarantee kicks in. The school is legally obligated to notify you in writing about the results. That written notice triggers the 4th guarantee, the mandatory creation of an ILP-D, or Individualized Learning Plan for Dyslexia. The ILP-D is a vital document because it mandates evidence-based intervention tailored to the student. It explicitly outlaws the classic administrative approach of, let's just wait and see how they do next semester. Together, the mandatory notification and the ILP-D flip the power dynamic. You go from being kept in the dark about your child's struggles to holding a legally binding action plan that forces the administration to step up. There is an additional layer of accountability arriving in the 2025 to 2026 school year. This is the 5th guarantee. Starting in 2025, both the Universal Reading Screener score and the Dyslexia Screener results must be printed directly on your child's standard report card. Pulling this data out of private administrative files and putting it on the official report card destroys the ability of any school to quietly gatekeep a student's reading status. The evidence will be sitting right there on your kitchen counter. Now, for the honest caveat. The Say Dyslexia law guarantees a framework, but it does not guarantee perfection. The actual quality of that evidence-based intervention still varies wildly from district to district across Tennessee. This law establishes the legal standing you need to challenge an administration's inaction. It moves the conversation into the realm of compliance, giving you the specific data points required to demand better resources. To take that high ground, your next step is simple. Sometime this week, you need to email your child's teacher. You only need to use one precise sentence to trigger their compliance. Write this: I'm requesting the results of my child's universal reading screener under the Say Dyslexia law. Once the school replies, you might need help figuring out the next move. That is where AskStellaNow.org comes in. It's a special needs concierge resource designed to help parents strategize and interpret the school's response. The administration knows the rules, and now so do you. Knowing the right legal vocabulary moves you out of the passenger seat and turns you into an undeniable advocate for your child's education.